In a world of puns, in a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com. In a world of uncertainty, the Ronin stands apart. A master of sales and marketing who answers to no one. Forge your own path. Create your own success. 1,000 leaders, 1,000 Ronins. Will be next. Join the revolution now. Step into mastery at therevenueronin.com.
All right, welcome. Good to have you guys aboard here. This is the Startup Circle community space. I'm your host, Justin R. for Results French, aka the Revenue Ronin. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a few days. I was unfortunately sick with pneumonia and bronchitis for a few days, so I'm on the mends here, which is great. Working from home today, but wanted to make sure I hosted the space here, and thank you, Andy, for filling in on Friday while I was ill. But thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Today's topic is sales and marketing mastery. Are you living up to your fullest potential and the highest standards? And this is going to be a big discussion here for today's mastermind. And really, this is an MBA masterclass. Think of it as an MBA masterclass, right? And I did share a video to kind of prep the space. I don't know if you guys watched it, but it was, Michael Jordan's documentary of The Last Dance. And if you haven't watched it, I highly encourage you guys to watch it because it really demonstrates, someone of that caliber, their mentality, it's just so well done about his journey in the NBA and how he took the Chicago Bulls from like a nothing franchise to like a well-respected franchise. Just the story is incredible, so highly encourage you guys to watch it. But there was one segment in particular that really hit home with me, and it was the mindset that Michael Jordan had. And it was just next level, right? It was next level. And even his teammates, they even admitted like, yeah, I got better just by, playing on his team, right? He pushed me, right? He pushed me to my limits. He pushed me to my full capacity, my capability. And yeah, so highly encourage you guys to watch it. Thanks guys for being here. Please like and repost the space. I think it'll really resonate with VB because he's all about talking about high performers and the mind of an athlete and the mentality you have to have. So I'm sure it'll resonate with him. But But yeah, let's check in with our co-host first, and then we'll kind of get to the discussion here. So, Kevin, welcome. Good to see you. How's everything going?
Good morning. Happy New Week, everybody. It is a beautiful Monday, my second favorite day, right behind Tuesday. Both literally and metaphorically. Tuesday is my favorite day here. But it's a new week. Everybody, I know everybody is either motivated or they're a little bit, feeling a bit fatigued. Can't believe the day is here, but we got to get things moving on here. And the best of us have been preparing for Monday through the weekend as well. I'm very excited to have this discussion as well. Are you living up to your full potential and your standards as well? I love this topic so much. I talk about standards all the time. And yeah, I'm really excited for this conversation. But before we get into that, though, I want to hear from Andy and then over to you, Justin.
Good morning. Are you living up to your fullest potential and standards? No. And every day I seek to get closer. But I am not ever living up to my full potential and standards. I was thinking about something this weekend, and that is the priorities people use in their life for their standards, and I'm going to apply it to potential and standards. If you're injured or hurt or sick or in some way incapacitated because of your health, you will spend all of your energy, time, and effort thinking about working on and fixing that. But once you have your health fixed, you will probably spend most of your time on fixing your finances. And then if you fix your health first and your finances are fixed, then you'll go after all your relationships. And somebody asked me that question kind of this weekend, and they said, well, then why don't kids do that? Like, why don't kids have that structure? And I said, because they're already healthy and they don't have any financial concerns. The parents take care of everything. So the only thing they focus on is entertainment and relationships. And so if you want to kind of truly succeed as you go forward in life, don't let your health, as much as you can, get out of control. And don't let your finances as much as you can get out of control. And then you can spend the rest of your time living in the relationship world, which is where we all want to be. However, as we grow up, we get older, we don't understand the gift of sovereignty, the gift of freedom, the gift of extra money in your pocket, and we trade that for a thing. Because, by the way, nobody trades huge amounts of money unless it's a party. But other than that, they don't usually trade large amounts of money for future gain or future debt, unless it's some big thing, house, car, college, something. And so when you get a house, then not only do you put yourself in financial challenges, but then you immediately go spend every other penny you have decorating it, because that's what you're expected to do. But my point is, to live to your fullest potential means you have to say no to a whole bunch of other things, because your potential is limited in the things that you do well. Kevin does things way better than I do in most areas. Justin does things totally different than I do. Hoops, Umesh, Philippe, Danielle, you guys all do things differently than I do. VB, I do things, I have a very narrow set of things that I do that's my full potential to exercise in that area. Everything else should be given away and allowed someone else to do. And instead, you have to figure out by trying everything. And that 360-degree view is interesting. It sure does take a lot of time to figure out that the one or two things you thought you were really good at were probably the things you were really good at the beginning. Anyway, there's this concept of 360-degree reviews in most corporations, and sounds like a good idea, but frankly, I think it's BS. But the reason is because the things that you do well, you rely on. If you're really good at lifting things, everything you'll try to do, you'll end up putting yourself in a situation where you can succeed by lifting something. And so your fullest potential is whatever you do best at 100%. And most people do whatever they do best at 1 or 2% because they're spending 90% of their energy trying to cover all their other deficiencies. Anyway, if you want to live to your fullest potential, you got to say no to other stuff and yes to the stuff you do well.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I love what you said, and it reminds me of when I worked at a company called Peak Potentials, and the founder was T. Harv Eker, and we always think that, hey, we're giving it 100%, we're doing our best, we're tapping into our full potential, but then you get around people who are way more successful than you, in the general sense, right? They're way more successful than you, and then there's other people that want you to tap into your highest potential and bring you up to a higher standard. And that's what masterminds are designed to do as well, right? They're part of masterminds is to enable you to have your highest output, to reach your full potential. And so that's why we do these spaces, right? Is because we want to level up, right? we want to level up together. And so, but yeah, I'm reminded, and then we'll go to Kevin. I'm reminded of there's a couple people that I worked with, some consultants at Peak Potentials Training, who were just pushing me, right? They were just pushing me. They were like, you know what, that email is not good enough, Justin. You can do better. Hey, you know what? That social media campaign, that's great, but you know what? You can do better. And it was just this constant push and drive of others that made me level up, right? And that's the same thing here, right? It's we're leveling up. There's always going to be people below your level. There's always going to be people at your level, and there's always going to be people above you. And so you just keep pushing forward, and you will level up being in these spaces. That's my promise, right? And if you've been with us, we've been doing this for a year now, every single day, Monday through Friday, sometimes bonuses on Saturdays and Sundays. But that's our promise, is you're part of the startup circle, you're part of the Ronin community, you want to level up, these are the spaces for you, and you will level up. So okay, let's check in with Kevin, and then we'll get to some other hands here. But thanks to everyone for being here. Please like and repost the space. We'd really appreciate it. Okay, over to you, Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. I'm loving this conversation so much. And I mean, pulling up to my standards is always really key here when it comes to my overall performance as well. And everything I do is non-negotiable when it comes to having a lot of my standards as well. If I want it to be done this way, it's got to be put to that way. But the way I'm able to keep it to a higher standard too is because of the people that I surround myself with. It's who I'm surrounding myself with, being open to take criticism, asking questions, right? I'm a part of so many business group chats here. It's absolutely incredible on Telegram, DMs, whatever it may be. I'm just opening to questions. Hey guys, does this look any good? Will this be good to publish? How's the hook looking? How's the body? Etc. All these really things as well. And then being comfortable as well. That's something that Justin teaches us all the time here, is to, being actually willing to learn as well. Because the simple truth is, even the best of the best are always going to have questions, right? I'm thinking Alex Hormozy, I guarantee he's asking questions every single day, because he may be good at one thing, but he's humble enough to understand that he's not good in other aspects as well. So that's been really, really helpful in my field, a big time as well. So do entrepreneurs ever feel like they're living up to their standards? I don't think so. I think it's quite the opposite. I think entrepreneurs feel like they're never living up to their standards, whereas, and I mean this in a positive way, but I think that the average person feels like they are, to some extent, living up to their potential as well. Their entrepreneurs just always have higher standards, but even then they feel like they aren't ever reaching it because they're trying to reach more.
Yeah, there's a pattern there. Well said, Kevin. So there's a pattern there of the high performers, is when you get around them, and even Alex Hormozy is a good example. Like, he's even invested like $100,000 to go talk to Grant Cardone about, like, hey, what are some tips you can share with me on what you're doing? And the 4-hour mastermind turns into only like a 40-minute conversation, and he got what he needed, right? And then he moved on. So you're continuously learning, you're continuously leveling up. And that's why I highly encourage everyone to check out the Michael Jordan video that I shared, because it's so powerful. It really demonstrates, the mentality of those high performers. And there's non-negotiables, like Kevin said. There's non-negotiables, and one of the things, like, it was funny that they had just lost like one of their championship games. Like, they were, could have won the NBA. They lost, and then it was like the next day, his personal trainer asked Michael Jordan. He's like, "Hey, so, will you be taking some time off?" And he's like, "No, I'll see you in the gym tomorrow." This is the day after they lost, right? The next day, he's in the gym training, right? Because that's the mentality, right? It's like, you go to work, and then he ended up total winning 6 championships for the Chicago Bulls. 6 NBA championships, not 1, not 2, not 3, 6. And so, like, when you're you're playing at that caliber and that level, as a teammate, right? He was going to get on your butt. He was not the most liked guy. He was a tyrant. And you read about this in Steve Jobs. You read about this in successful, hyper successful, athletes and or business people. And yeah, they're not the most liked people, but they will demand a higher standard from each and every one of their team members. And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. So I always say, look, we're here to tell you not just what you want to hear, what you need to hear. And that's the main takeaway here. So good reminder, Kevin. Thank you so much. Let's jump over to Danielle, and then we'll go to VB. But I want to recognize a couple people first. So we got Dan Ryan here. Dan Ryan, good to see you. Happy Monday. He was our first ever Ronin to sign up. So thank you, Dan. Really appreciate you. Good catching up with you on the emails. We got the job father Justin here as well. Another Ronin we've had in the ranks. So good to see you, job father Justin. Great brand, guys. Great brand. So make sure you're following Justin. We got Antonio. He's our recent Ronin. So thank you, Antonio. He's created an AI summary app for Spaces. So great to have you here, Antonio. Umesh is, when I think of the top thought leaders on X, like, there's 5 people, and Umesh is one of them. Okay, so that's how good Umesh is on his craft of AI. So thank you, Umesh, for being here. Good to see you. We got Vinny and many others down below. Thanks, guys, for being here. Please like and repost the space. Would really appreciate it. I'm getting over my sickness here. Feeling much better today. Going to be working from home. So I appreciate you guys joining us. Okay, let's check in with Danielle, and then we'll go to VB. Danielle, good morning. How's it going?
Good morning. How is everybody? It's funny. I just can't deny myself a little bit of this space. And when I'm looking at, are you living up to your fullest potential and standards? And, I'm going to tell you right now, wholeheartedly, yes. But what I'm starting out by saying is, like, and here I have to dive in. And I've been working on that second book more and more with the sense of urgency to finally get it out. Because even when you get that whole thing done, it takes a couple months, right? And I should not be on this space. I should really be focusing on this before my work. So I'm falling a little short by actually being here, because I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Is everything going 110% well? Is it all? Yeah. No, the answer is no. I'm one person. But to answer the question, am I living up to my fullest potential? Yes, my potential. And then that begs the whole point of, you've got to delegate that which you cannot take on. So when I used to beat myself up, I thought that was because not all that was getting done, and it wasn't getting done at the speed or I don't want to say perfection, because I hate that word, but at the best possible way that it could. But I am one person. So until I could afford a really large team, I do hire people. I do have things taken care of and stuff like that. It's going to be like, what's my potential? And the answer is yes. I mean, guys, I am working hard. You see me on here less because I can't do both things, right? Some people, X is very, very strongly integrated with what they're accomplishing and what they're actually doing, right? This is the universe. And there's so much success in that space, right? In this place. But for me, I'm like physically out, and it demands that, and it demands that I spend more time on LinkedIn and more times in some other things, just because of the structure and the nature of my job. And then, once that gets a little bit more underway, I'll be able to kind of like straddle both things. So, but I'm glad that you are feeling better, Justin. I'd counsel you as a mama, to talk a little bit less, hand that over to Kevin or Andy to be saying all the things you're saying, because you don't want to have any kind of setbacks. You have bronchitis or pneumonia or whatever, that shit's serious and it lingers. So treat yourself with the self-care that you deserve, my friend, right? So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. Channeling your inner mother. Thank you for that. Yeah, believe me, I've been in bed like all weekend and taking it easy and just, unplugging a little bit. So, and yeah, definitely on the mends. But yeah, like health, at the end of my, spaces, I do my stay hungry. I'm gonna start saying stay healthy, stay hungry, stay humble now, because yeah, health is everything, guys. And I'm, generally a healthy person, but it was just a lot of things happening all at once with the traveling for vacation, and then just my wife caught something on the plane, and then it's like I got sick and my daughter got sick, and it just the whole house was down. So but we're coming back.
Yeah, you see that constantly, not to interrupt, but everybody I know that's going on vacation, not even vacation, sometimes it's, a work trip, they come back and there's some price to pay. It's almost like inevitable lately. I don't see anybody, come back unscathed. So sorry that happened to you, but it did look like that trip was worth it.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. Some good reminders for us. And yeah, no, listen, if there's one person on here that I can point out that I'm like, look, is she living up to her fullest potential and highest standards right now? That's Danielle, right? That's definitely Danielle. You're one of the first people that comes to mind, because of all the effort that you've been putting in for these last 2 years that you've been on your solopreneur journey, and you're making it happen with limited resources, right? You're being resourceful, you're learning, you're adapting to personal stuff, professional stuff, and also the price tag that you value, and the price tag that you put out there that you require. People are stepping up into that, and they're recognizing your value and your greatness that you bring. So it's all coming together, right? It's all coming together, and you're playing at that high level. So kudos to you, Danielle. I'm super excited about the next book. That's going to be exciting. When does that come out? You said next year?
You know, who knows? I was telling everybody that WTF was coming out 4 months before it actually did, and I firmly believed it because the manuscript was complete and whatnot. There's all sorts of things that create some sort of stop to the process. The reason there's a sense of urgency is because this book really is, all the presentations I've been doing lately, not all of them, but 80% have to do with the framework that I put forth in this book. That's why I want this book to come out, so that this is the book they're handing out in the conference room and that they're buying in anticipation of the presentation. It doesn't make WTF irrelevant, but this whole framework, the pivot, pause, identify, vet, outreach, test, this is what I speak on, and this is what they're just paying me more and more money to do. They're like, yeah, we want that message out there. And I work in the whole WTF theme, because it's all starting from like, you got to pivot because you're having a moment. We're going from chaos to clarity, and we're going from curveballs to catalysts, and corporate America is eating this shit up. So the book has to come out because of that. It's not because I'm like, oh, I need two books, I have to be an author of two. No, it's not gluttony. It's because this literally is like the program. So I'm dedicating more and more time, and consequently doing less things. That AI thing that I went to last week that I was referring to, we're not going to get into it because this is not space for that, but I will tell you, I stayed there, and 4 hours short of that being done, I wasn't bored, but I felt I had enough. I was like, had learned enough, experienced enough, met enough people, and I left. As soon as there was like this hour break, I just peeled off. And it's one of the things that I'm going to tell everybody to do. When you feel you have reached your capacity to even just take any more in, and then you need to reset, honor that. That is the mentality and the promise I've made to myself that has made me stronger, better. So it really, You know what I mean? It's when we burn out, we keep going because we feel like it's not done. It's done when your body and your mind and your soul listen to that intuitive voice. When it tells you you're done, you're just done for right then. Okay, you're not quitting. You're done for right then, and that's the most badass move that I've been doing with consistency for a couple months. And yeah, that's why all these other things are following.
I love that, and the experiential part of your teachings, I think, is what's really attracting, the corporate speaking as well, because people buy and want to invest in experiences, right? And the true transformation. And it's one thing to read it in a book, right? But if Danielle's getting on stage and she's doing activities, she's getting people out of the chair, they're participating, right? There's something to be said. And this is going to be more and more of a trend in the coming years because of AI, right? Because people want more experiences. If you look at the most successful Airbnbs, it's because they have experiences attached to the property. So yeah, like that's a good aha for me there, Danielle. And people are craving, in person, they're craving transformation, they're craving experiences that leave them energized and inspired. And your message is, is on point for that type of transformation. So thank you, Danielle. It's so good to catch up with you. And thanks for taking some time out of your day to check in with us. Always helpful wisdom, and yeah, just keep going, and you'll have some downtime, I'm sure, during the holidays to work on the book. I think we all should take some downtime during the holidays to focus on those projects that we need to continue moving forward. So okay, yeah, let's go over to VB and then we'll go to Christelle. VB, how's it going?
Going great, Justin. Thanks for hosting the space, and I hope you are better right now. I've been missing you a couple of days, and doesn't feel normal when Justin doesn't host the space. Of course, there's Andy who's taking over, but of course, hope you take care of yourself. Now, this topic, by the way, what Daniel said, I totally understand, and I totally 100% agree with the last point, especially taking breaks and taking time off, because sometimes you feel motivated for a long period of time, right? You feel motivated for a long period of time, maybe a month, maybe 45 days, but then the motivation doesn't stay. You go on 45 days non-stop at 100 miles an hour, and then after 45 days, you've been running for 100 miles an hour. Now you have to take a break, right? You don't just take a break for one day. You probably take a break for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Instead, strategically slowing down is absolutely crucial. Strategically slowing down. Perhaps every Sunday, you might want to go at 100 miles an hour for the next 30 days, but if you slow down, life is a marathon, not a sprint. If you slow down every now and then, you can continue longer than someone who's just sprinting. So, great point. I take my strategic slowing down a bit on Sundays, go at around 30%, 50% rate in my eyes. Coming back to the topic at hand. I would like to say that I have a couple of pro tips, like how Justin would say, for this topic, because my bio clearly says that I've been 90 plus days in right now. And of course, because ever since my wedding, I had to come back, and now catching up, if that's what it says. If that's what it is. English is my third language. I apologize for this. But anyway, getting back on track with the impressions, with the growth, everything. It takes some time, 90 plus days in. Here are my pro tips on the subject. Number one is your mind is as strong as your body. If you want to live up to your potential, you have to strengthen your body, because a strong body equals a strong mind. It's not just reading books, showing up on X every single day. It's also taking time to take care of your body. If you can't take care of something that is absolutely visible to you, which is your body, then how do you expect to take care of your mind, which is completely invisible, right? So take care of something that is visible to you. You'll get, if you work out or go for a run every single day, you'll find that twitch in your knee or your back or your hip that was hidden underneath, which might have come at a wrong situation, wrong circumstance later on in your life. Fix it right now. So strong body, strong mind. That is number one. Number two is your food is your operating system. What you consume is what you produce, right? Of course, consumption in terms of information, right? And what I think Kevin brought a great point. He surrounds himself with amazing people. So you consume information from the right people, absolutely. And also you consume food, right? What you consume from the internet, etc. Of course, but food, garbage in, garbage out, brain fog, afternoon crashes, scattered thinking. Often it's not a mindset problem, but a nutrition problem, my friends. Okay, what you eat becomes your blood, your cells, your thoughts. Clean fuel equals clean mind. And no matter how hard you try, you cannot outwork a bad diet, and you can't outthink one either. That's what I want to say. Now, in terms of, am I living to my fullest potential? Absolutely not. But am I giving my 100% these days? 100% yes. I'm giving my 100%, but I still have a lot of stairs to climb, a long way to go, and yeah. Also, one more thing: treat your energy like a bank account. Okay, withdrawals like work, stress, decisions need deposits. Sleep, nature, silence. Spend time under sunlight, go for walks. In fact, what most people do is they overdraw daily and wonder why they're bankrupt by Thursday or Friday, if that makes sense. But yeah, these are my couple of pro tips. Justin, thanks for your time. But yeah, hope you get well soon. And Crystal, nice PFP. Thought I'd return the favor by mentioning your PFP as well. All right, that's what I had to say. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Vivi. Really, really great pro tips there. And yeah, I'd add on too, just like relationships is just like a bank account too. It's like you make deposits and you make withdrawals for your relationships as well. And, I've experienced this myself where I've invested years into relationships. And then when I needed to tap into that person, they, gave me free coaching, or they were there to listen, or they were there for financial means, whatever, ask I had at the time. They were there for me. And some people aren't. Let me just point that out. But the people that are there for you, when you're going through a tough time or a good time, you make those deposits into the relationship, and then you make those withdrawals. So just like your health, just like what you consume as far as nutrition, relationships are the similar fashion, right? Very, very similar. I'm a big giver, right? I'm a big giver. I love to give. And sometimes I have a hard time asking. So when it comes to relationships, but business, I don't have a problem, right? Like, hey, I don't have a problem asking for the sale. So relationships, different aspect, but just know that there's return on investment, but there's also return on influence. There's return on influence. So those relationships that you make in business, you want to make sure you're making deposits, because you never know when you're going to be able to, call on somebody. Perfect example of this is one of my best friends recently reached out, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you about lead generation. Like, hey, let's go to sushi. I'll buy you sushi. Let's talk about lead generation. I need help with that. So prime example, right? And because he's been there for me throughout the years as a good friend of mine, of course, I'm going to, prioritize that. It's all about prioritizing your time, prioritizing your non-negotiables, and staying in, it's hard to stay in alignment, but at the same time, if you're not, and that's why I love Will Carter's approach is, he does these daily alignments or realignments. So, all right, yeah, good stuff, Vivi. Thanks for being here. Let's go over to Christelle, and then we'll go to Nino. Let me get Christelle up here. And oh yeah, loving the PFP. In fact, Christelle inspired me to update my PFP as well. I think I need to fix it though, because I don't know why the white thing is around it. But I'm not a graphics person, so you know. But yeah, Christelle, loving the new PFP. Welcome, happy Monday. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much. And just a warning, if you all want me to keep this PFP, you're going to get a much spicier version of me, because I just feel like she's spicy. I'm like, are you sure you want her? But the people want her. So Ani has told me I cannot get rid of her. She's a joke. She's a joke, people. This was a selfie I took for Ani, like when I first woke up. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Where are you going? I'm like, girl, I just woke up. And she's like, Christelle, you need a new PFP. I said, okay. So I just posted, this was a late night space. We do crazy things, And now she's like, oh my gosh, I love it. And Andy said he loved it. When Andy said he loved it, I was like, all right, well, I guess she's staying. And then Will said he loved it. And Kevin said all the guys said, and I was like, all right, that's it. For now, at least. Maybe through the holidays. We'll take her through the holidays. And then I got VB too. So anyways, I got to make this quick because guess what? I am going to an event that I'm hosting. And Justin, at the beginning of the year, I said my goal was to get more out into the local Miami community and host events. And yes, it's November, 20 something, but I'm hosting an in-person. I did do a virtual event with them, the Miami community that I'm a part of. They have like 150 members. So we're doing a potluck Friendsgiving at my co-working space because I have these hours. I've told you, I have these 5 hours a month, which is a hack. Go to a co-working space, get some event time hours. They just threw that in there for me, but I'm not using it. So the founder of the community was like, yeah, that's great. Would love to use the space. People are always looking for event space. So if you have event space, I learned this through Airbnb and other things that I did in DC. If you have physical space to offer people, that is a whole source of income. And your girl is always looking for different sources of income. I learned that from my daddy. So I just want to say real quick, what, Kevin, you want to interrupt me? I'm trying to get in the car and drive, and I got a stick shift, so I can't talk and drive in that car because I'm still stick shift driving. So anyways.
Why are you looking at me unmuting then if you are driving, Christelle? That is a hazard right there.
No, I'm at my house, but I can't leave to go to this event until I finish talking, so I'm like rushing myself. So I want to say, and I love that VB said it, because I'm with him, absolutely not. I'm not living up to my full potential and standards. And I pray I never do in this lifetime, because I believe we are constantly meant to achieve and grow higher and higher. I shouldn't say achieve, because for some people they take that the wrong way, but I just mean grow. We are literally designed to grow every moment. We're either growing or we're regressing, one or the other. Especially talking about health and all of that, right? So that's why I say, no, I'm not living up to my full potential, and I don't want to. I only see myself living up to my full potential when I'm perfect and in heaven. And that's the whole point, right? What would I have to strive for, right? To have, I want perfection, but I'm not going to get that in this lifetime, and that's okay. What I am going to get is a constant growth cycle, and it is exhilarating. I'm publishing apps, you guys. I was a high school teacher, okay? My parents were 17. They accidentally got pregnant with me. My mom, she almost didn't have me, very close, okay? And I just narrowly made it here. My daddy was gone. I have the story. I don't even tell the story, but I got the whole story of I shouldn't be where I am now, but why am I here? Because I'm in spaces like this and I'm around people like this, and because of my 20 plus years of experience, right? So when we bring both to the table, we bring our experience, we bring everything that we've learned, all the growth, and we connect that with a community of people. I am just blown away by what I'm learning in Beehive, because Kevin and Andy and Timo and Ani have newsletters.
my newsletter is monetizing in a way that it never did before because I didn't know I could do this until I saw them do it. So this is why, even if you're the one teaching, right? Like, you could say I was talking about newsletters, but guess what? I wasn't doing what they're doing. I'm trying to catch up to them. Ani's making over $3,000. Did you know that, Justin? She's made over $3,000 in ad revenue. So this is incredible. I'm just getting this. Kevin is like 5 figures on the way very soon. Like, this is amazing, So please, this is the last thing I'm going to say. And I got to get in the car. I love you all. I really do. Because I know that my dreams are coming true because of the community that I'm attached to. Dan Ryan there, love me some Dan Ryan. Nino, Job Father, Umesh is here, Antonio AVR, like all these amazing people. I don't know what else I was going to say. I was going to say something, but then I got distracted by all the pretty faces. So thank you for the love. We'll keep her through the holiday. She is spicy, but I feel spicier. I think it's Andy's fault, all this unfiltered stuff. I'm like, well, that sounds fun. All right. Much love. Thank you.
A couple things, Christelle. I mean, God bless that you're here with us, right? This is the first time I'm hearing your story. So it's things like these that make me really, really appreciate women, in regards to everything. And, really giving you the chance, because in my personal life and you being around, right, it really does change things. I've learned a lot from you. You want proof? I'm literally on Lovable right now creating a website, and that's literally just thanks to Christelle's knowledge and experience, right? Literally doing it right now. I'm doing some rebranding myself, so I got to create a website. I'll probably even go as far as to changing, my aesthetic when it comes to my brand and everything that I'm doing. So
that's what I was going to say, Kevin, real quick. Give the knowledge away for free. Give it away for free and abundantly, because I promise you it'll come back tenfold. Like, you'll learn from your students and the people that learn from you, reflecting back through their experience. And that's exactly what you're doing, Kevin. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really want to make this clear with a lot of people. Information, you can't really sell information anymore, right? Unless you're, selling a book nowadays. But to really do it online, the positioning is very difficult. So I tell this to people all the time. Give away everything away for free when it comes to the knowledge part, but sell your implementation, because that's what people really want. They want the implementation, and even oftentimes the clarity as well. And clarity can be very, very subjective depending on person to person, to brand, because what's working for me may not work for Andy. What's working for Justin may not work for me as well. So depending on your goals and what they've told you in the past, or their brands or their marketing, or even as simple as their niche, could really, really affect your clarity and what's really needed in business as well. But Christelle, I'm really touched by that. I know I brought it up again, but that's the first time I'm hearing it. I mean, thank God, literally, that you're here with us, because, my experience as a whole is really, really different because of it as well. And you run amazing spaces, and, just from a non-business perspective, right? Like, just coming from like a friend's point of view as well, like, I appreciate you more than I think people realize, and just very, very happy. So God bless everybody.
Wow. Yeah, this is a very touching space this Monday, guys. And yeah, Christelle, your growth has been incredible. And yeah, just to see how much you've accomplished and how many people you've touched and inspired to do great things. And that's what this is all about. It's you want to see others. That's the ultimate testimony, is having others like supersede you, right? Like I want that for everybody, right? Like, I want you guys to do better than me. I want you to be more successful than me. That's what I want for you guys, because that's the true leadership, right? That's leadership, and it's
teacher's heart.
Yeah,
that is it makes me want to cry, because that is a teacher's heart. That's why I love being a teacher, because I never and Andy has this heart too, and you all do too. We want you to take everything and model it, copy it, but make it your own. The only reason I don't want you to just copy paste is because no one will like it coming from you, right? There can only be one Christelle Guillen. But I can take what Danielle is doing, for instance, with the WTF and the way she's branding that, and I can find my own way to replicate that for my brand, and I'm totally inspired by her, right? So anyways, I'm going to stop. I'm at a red light, so that's why I grabbed the mic. But Danielle, another queen, has her hand up. But anyway, go ahead, Justin. like a co-host even when I'm not a co-host in spaces that I co-host in. So please excuse me.
Yes, you have those privileges, Christelle. So yeah, let's go to Danielle real quick because she's got her hand up. So go ahead.
I wanted to, Christelle, God, I love hearing from you when I'm having flashbacks to when I used to drive a stick. I love that actually, but yeah, then you have no hands at all. I wanted to be clear about what I was saying earlier. So when I'm saying I'm living up to my full potential, I'm saying today, okay? Two things. One, WTF, who to follow. It's a chapter in the book, and it's not about who we follow on X or Instagram or any social media, but it's like, who are the people? What's the company that you keep? Because that literally, especially in business, we can't always, control the family we keep. You got the fam, you got the fam, you get what you get. And mine's wonky, I'll tell you that. Not my kids, but the one I came from. But that determines your baseline. When you hang around with people like here, like what's happening on this space every single day, you level up. You just organically level up. If you're coming here consistently, you want to. And that's really what happens, right? So I'm just in a season where I'm stepping up. Do I think that I've reached my full potential? Hell no, there's room to grow. But what I want to acknowledge and celebrate, another chapter in the book, WTF, Win Tiny First, is that where I'm at right now, I'm hitting all the marks. I'm doing all the things with consistency. And I can't tell you that's always the case, even, when I'm doing okay. Like right now, I'm doing that. I'm not settling for where I am now or how I'm performing now. But with all the resources I have, some great, some limited, I'm hitting it and I'm doing it. And I want to acknowledge that because that really enables me to move forward with some enthusiasm because I'm done kind of like, taking out the whip and hitting myself with it. Oh, you're not this. Yeah, no, guess what? And I'm not always hitting all the marks. And today, when I say today, I don't mean today, Monday. I will tell you in the last like 6, 7, 8 weeks, I've been doing it with consistency. So I'm not ever really looking for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Somebody earlier said something about motivation. That's just BS. Motivation is like it's like gravy. It's like, yay, we have that. That feels good. That can infuse you with some stamina and some excitement. We are talking about hard, cold discipline. That's what it takes. And we all have it within us. It's a matter of whether or not you want to waken it up and then you want to nurture the damn thing. You want to answer to it. Okay, it's all about discipline. It rarely is about motivation. Motivation is just like a perk. When you feel motivated, that's great. But do not wait for the big M because it's rarely there and it's absolutely fleeting. But discipline is sustainable. I haven't arrived. I'm not where I'm at my potential where I want to be. I am today. And that's what I want to acknowledge. And I want to celebrate it for myself. That's all. You know what? Because our self-talk, our self-love is so critically important. It really, really is. And it helps me not slip into comparison. I don't want to compare to all the people, what they're doing, how far ahead they are, and all that. I want to be inspired by that. And as long as I'm living up to today's fullest potential with what I've got and what I can do and how I show up, then I can do that. And I can't, I can be happy about what I'm doing. And that's what I seek. I want that kind of peace because that's what's sustainable. And joy. There's a lot of joy in that. So I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, there's one M I love besides motivation, to your point, Danielle, and that's momentum. When you have momentum going for you, okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? When you've been putting in the reps, you've been putting in the work, and then the fruits of your labor are becoming reality because you know who you are, you're stepping into that greatness. And one quote that comes to mind is from a movie called the Bronx Tale, right? If you guys haven't watched it, it's a great movie, 93 classic. And one of the quotes in there is the saddest thing
over a parking space.
Yeah, the quote is this good one. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent, and the choices that you make will shape your life forever. And then it's really framed on, it's really a tragedy when someone with potential doesn't live up to it, right? That's the whole premise there. So, great movie, Bronx Tale. And so, yeah, like never sleep on momentum, right? Because Big Mo, we call it, right, in some of the books. But yeah, you're spot on. Motivation, you rely on consistency, commitment, and discipline, like those three things. So, okay, let's go over to Andy and then we'll go to you, Nino. And we're going to wrap up at 7:45, guys. I got a hard stop today. So just plan accordingly. But really appreciate everyone being here. Okay, Andy, over to you.
Thanks. Danielle mentioned something, and it triggered a thought in my mind, and that was that even though you can compare yourself to others, you can want what they want, you can desire, maybe even have envy, even though you shouldn't, but some people do. We all want something else. We all see something. We see it with our eyes. We justify it in our hearts, right? But here's the bottom line. The only way you get it is if you're the one who swims the laps, right? I was a swimmer, and you can't ever be a champion without putting in the time. You've got to take every stroke, otherwise you drown, and you've got to swim every single lap. And then the other thing we were talking about comparison is it's very easy to compare yourself to the 4 or 5 people that you hang out with. Kind of like you play golf with guys on Saturday. Every Saturday you all play golf together and you're all playing and trying to get better and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and then one day you play with Tiger Woods and you realize how much you suck. Because he's just so much better than you. And that's okay. But the point is, if you really want to be great, you want to live up to your potential, then you got to play with the Tiger Woods and you got to suck. And then, because here's what will happen. If you play with people who are better than you, you show up with people who are further along the path, right? Tiger Woods is just physically better than I'm ever going to be as a golfer. That's okay. I can still play my best potential, but I can't play it if I'm just hanging out with my buddies and we're all hacks. But if I start playing with people who are better golfers and way better golfers than me, what's going to happen is I will see how they operate. I'll see how they think. I'll see how they make decisions. I'll see how they react to bad shots. I'll see how they fix things. I'll see how they prevent bad things from happening. And then just by hanging out with those guys, my golf score is going to get better. And that's what you're doing when you show up here, right? Every day. If you knew nothing and you show up every day, you know something. And if you start applying it, you're going to go from knowing something to now understanding something. And pretty soon you'll be teaching it because you'll be doing the things that we're talking about. And see, my goal, my teacher's heart, as Christelle pointed out, is it's not about me. I only use me as an example because I can speak authentically about every breath I've ever taken. But what I really, really, truly, my heart want you to grab hold of these ideas and make a difference in your life. Because listen, 25 years ago, they used to say this beautiful thing. They used to go, if you add $2,000 a month to your life will change. Okay, well, then today, 25 years later, maybe that's $10,000. So here's the thing. You add $10,000 to your income right now. If you want to just amplify it, $10,000 after taxes, cash in your bank. You put $10,000 more dollars in your bank account right now, it changes everyone's life. And I'm about changing lives. So what I want, because it's me, I want you to take this. But what I truly want is for you can apprehend things by saying them. You can comprehend things by thinking them. I want you to take action and turn that into a bank account. Because if you do that, your life, your family's life, or whatever gets better. You have lots of more problems and different problems. And I really want to talk about those things. But every time I talk about those 3 or 4 or 5, 6 steps down the road playing chess, comes back to which one is the rook and which one is the bishop. Cool. If that's where we are, let's go to the beginning. I'm okay at any level, forward, backward, up, down, deeper, shallow, no problem. I got you wherever you are. But I want you to take action, right? Love talking. I can do it all day long. I will stop talking forever if you guys take action and turn this into money for your families.
Wow. Yeah, powerful, Andy. Yeah, man. It's like I always and this is a pro tip that I do. I want to share with you guys, and Andy kind of stemmed this. So hat tip to Andy. So put yourself in the mindset of, look, you're already making that amount of money that you should be making in your life, and your relationships are good, and you need to put yourself in that mindset and then do the work, and then you'll catch up there. You'll get to that point. That's how it works. I mean, that's how it's worked for me. When I wanted to make 20K a month in my agency, boom, that's what I did. Set the mindset, set the target outcome, did the work, boom. I signed the clients, making 20K a month. It's possible. It's definitely possible. It's 1,000% possible. So put your mindset in that, and just imagine if you didn't have to worry about money, right? That's how you have to act every single day. Just act as if you didn't have to worry about money, and do what you're supposed to be doing and meant to be doing. And then guess what happens as a byproduct over time when you do the work? And please don't say you're not in sales, and please don't say you're not in marketing, because every single person on this call is in sales. Every single person on this call is in marketing, whether you like to admit it or not. But that's the reality, right? So don't forget that main point. Okay, let's jump over to Nino, and then we got 5 minutes left, so I want to start getting on to final word here. So, okay, Nino, over to you. How's it going, man?
Hey, thank you, Justin, for always, being so consistent here. I don't even know what to say anymore, because I heard Christelle, and you know what? And then I hear Danielle, and then I hear Andy, and I kind of, he was getting a little bit emotional. Here's the thing, when it comes to motivation, right, and excitement, and what Danielle was talking about, eventually that fades away, right? So it's the discipline, it's the habit, it's the routine, but most of all, it's the why, the purpose. So when I wake up in the morning, wake up with gratitude. And there's 3 things that I live by. And listen, in 2025, you want to talk about seasons of all seasons, going through a separation, a divorce, while I'm trying to build myself up. But what I realized through that buildup, there's people watching. People are listening. And it's great to come into these spaces because I get to meet you, Justin, and I see everything that everyone is doing, because it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But when you have your purpose and you know your why, it just makes it a little bit easier when you're having those rough days. And I'm going to close it off with this. So last weekend, I did the suicide awareness prevention event, and I got to speak. And since then, now there's like 3 or 4 other projects that people want me to be involved with, because what I realize, not everyone is on social media. So when I hear Christelle talking about doing those live events, oh my goodness, that's a great opportunity, because people are dying to meet us. They want to meet Danielle. They want to meet Justin. They want to meet Andy. There's so many other beautiful people in this space right here. So at any point, you guys are doing any events, I want in, because I want to meet you guys. So to me, it's about purpose, it's about passion, and it's about showing up, not just for everybody else, but with you, because it starts with you first. And then it's these 3 things, and I'm going to close it up right now. It's God, family, and community. And that's what I see in people in this space right now. Everyone in here, most of us, have those 3 things. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you, Nino. Thanks for being here, and the wise words as always. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's purpose, passion, profit, right? Purpose, passion, profit. And when those things are lined up, like you're you're on the path, and nothing can stop you, right? Like nothing can stop you. When Michael Jordan was on his path towards his first NBA championship, right? Nothing was going to get in his way, and he brought everyone with him. And they didn't they thought of him as a tyrant at times, but guess what? They all leveled up together. They won an NBA championship, right? And that's why nothing compares to the story of the Chicago Bulls, the 90s Bulls. Like no other sports. I mean, you can't name one more historic event that happened from the 90s Bulls, right? And those 6 NBA championships. there's not one. Like that is the highest level. Like there's nothing else in my book. So, but yeah, wise words, Nino. Thank you so much for being here, and congrats on, you know, those doors that are opening up for you. And again, when you're on your mission, your big why, and you have purpose, passion, profit, you know, God, the universe will put those things, open those doors for you, and you burst through those doors. You don't just like, oh, you know, push it a little bit. No, you got to burst through those doors. Those opportunities come, and you have to take them, right? And you create opportunities. You create opportunities. You don't just wait for opportunities. You create them. So yeah, thank you, Nino, for those
You're
wise.
absolutely right, but it's preparation. Be prepared for those opportunities, because I've seen so many people have opportunities, but they weren't ready. So be prepared. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a quote to that point. There's a quote that says, success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. And then that's entirely, you know, the whole quote right there to your point. So yeah, thank you for that, Nino. Really great space here today, guys. Really enjoyed this one, and just keep incorporating live events. Nino's doing live events, Danielle's doing live events, Christelle's doing live events. Highly encourage everyone to start doing live events. And, you know, I'm reminded of, I used to do, like, I call them tweet ups, right? Back in like 2010, 2009, 2011, I was doing these tweet ups where I was meeting, you know, small business owners locally in San Diego, and I was teaching them X or Twitter back in the day, right? Hey, Twitter 101 for business. You know, here's how it's working. Here's how social media can help drive leads for your business. Like, this is literally what I'm teaching in 2009, 2010. And fast forward the clock, and, you know, here we are, and I'm having to go back and complete that chapter of my life, right? I've God, the universe has said, no, you need to go fulfill this work that you started. And that's exactly, you know, why I'm here. You got to complete those chapters of your life. And so, yeah, appreciate everyone being here. Let's go to final word to Danielle, Christelle, Andy, Kevin, and then I'll close this out. Okay, thanks, guys. Danielle, over to you.
Yeah, what a great space. I don't have anything profound to say other than it is so meaningful to get the collective wisdom in these rooms in X on this space in particular. So I love you for that, Justin. And please take care of yourself. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. Always a pleasure to connect with you and hear from you. And wishing you a great, productive day today, and profitable. And okay, Christelle, over to you. Final word.
Oh, I'm checking out right now at Publix, getting chicken. If you all haven't had Publix chicken, you're missing out. Come visit me in Miami. Nino, we should connect. I know you're in Florida. But anyways, thanks for the space.
Yes,
much
really
love.
Quick, I'm in Connecticut, but I am going to be for 9 days. I'm going to be in North Carolina, South Carolina, and then in Orlando to meet my brother for 9 days. So yeah, we'll definitely connect.
Awesome, and good luck with the event, Christelle. And we'll be looking for the pictures on X. So awesome. Okay, Andy, final word, and then we'll go to Kevin.
Are you living up to your fullest potential? You need to imagine what your life is supposed to be like, what you think it's supposed to align like, and then look and see if you're actually aligned with God. If you are, then the things you imagine are probably the things that God wants you to be. If not, you know, you might want to put yourself right with God to start with, and then you can figure out where you want to go, because otherwise, how can you determine if you're meeting your full potential or not? Right? I don't know what my full potential was. If you would have asked me when I was 18 years old, what was my life going to be like? Never in a million years would I have said, oh, here's what you're going to do. You're going to spend your entire life influencing other people with no real control. You're going to manage millions and millions of dollars of contracts and peoples and stuff. And then later on, you're going to sit in an office, which is really a converted bedroom with a kitchen table as a desk, and tell people how they can click on stuff in the internet, which, by the way, wasn't even really around when I was 18. So nobody would have imagined what the potential is. Nobody would have imagined what the standard is. Nobody knows what the future is going to end up being. And yet, here we are. So, are you living up to your fullest potential? If you don't know, you're not aligned, if you have those things, here's what you should do. Pick a really, really big target, really, really far away, and then start working towards it. And you'll figure out if you can make it there or not. It'll be pretty obvious, pretty quick. But the problem is most people don't look past the mirror in the bathroom. You need to get outside, pick something really big, hairy, audacious objective, and then move toward it. Because once you move off your spot, you'll figure out if you're going the right direction or wrong. Potential's awesome, but action's better.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. All right, Kevin, final word, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. I mean, first of all, thank you for hosting this amazing space. It really is, super incredible as well. To know that if you're really aligned and you're really running for your fullest potential as well, think big. I think a lot of people are really sheltering themselves a lot of the time too. If you're able to do this, one of the greatest life hacks that is out there, much as you can. Doesn't matter if it's just leaving your hometown. 70% of all Americans never even leave their hometown in the US. They stay in their city for their entire lives. They never even go to the neighboring town. And what I've discovered with traveling is it really does open your mind up a lot more. And secondly, when you start to travel, especially if you've grown up in a first world country, you've been blessed by God. If you start to go into other countries like myself down here in Mexico, you start to align with God more because I feel like you really start to take on more gratitude. When I was in Mexico, right, there's obviously there's more poverty out here. You want to help more people, and you really start to visualize more when you're in that area what you're really fighting for at the end of the day too. And really aligning yourself that way is going to give you that drive and give you that purpose of really wanting to work more. That's just one of the greatest things that has really, really helped me out. And got the gratitude aspect of everything as well. Christelle, just a quick follow-up. When is your event coming up? Because I know it's going to be in Florida in a little bit, and I could practically just swim over if I really wanted to.
Are you talking about the Cruise to the Bahamas event?
Yes.
Yeah, that is December 19th. You all are welcome. It's like $300 to $500 to go to the all-inclusive. Food, alcohol. If you don't drink, it's even less.
What was the date again? Yeah.
December 19th to the 22nd. Going to the Bahamas on Norwegian Cruise Line. You just got to come get yourself to Miami and then, of course, pay the money for the cruise, which just depends on what kind of room you want. That's how the pricing is based.
Are there future trips?
I will officially become a cruiser in 2026. I would love to see us doing cruises like every, few months.
Quarterly. Christelle, I've been on a cruise, and trust me, it is addicting. Like, if I had the time, I would be there like 24/7. To be honest, cruises are great. Resorts are great. I mean, Cancun is naturally full of them. So it's incredible. And my brother works on a cruise, so he's telling me a lot of stories on the back end. So, are there any extra costs, or is it's literally just the plane ticket?
No, it's literally all inclusive, even tips. Like, they don't want you to have to spend any money once you get on the cruise, unless you want to pay for excursions or whatever. But otherwise, everything is covered. It's really all inclusive.
All right, sounds awesome. A little risque on my end because that is, Christmas time. It's family time. I got my family coming down here in Mexico, and then I don't want to have to just leave and be like, oh, by the way, guys, I'm gonna be on a cruise ship, so I'll tend to see ya. But yeah, I'll talk to them. I'll see what's the plan, and then we'll definitely talk things over. But otherwise, thanks to you once again, Justin. You're incredible. And yeah, think big, guys. Travel if you can. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just travel, elsewhere as well, because I've realized with traveling too, there's so much more out there in the world than I think that people really, really expect than that they really know of. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. And yeah, guys, just my final words here is just think bigger, do more. And, remember these F's: faith, family, friends, finances, fitness, and fun. Those are kind of my F's there. So, and yeah, just remember to live up to your full potential. right? The saddest thing in life is wasted talent. So, the choices you make will shape your life forever. So, and you're in the right room here, guys. You're in the right room. So, all right. At the end of our lives, we'll ask ourselves 4 simple questions. Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? Did I make a difference? Until next time, keep making a difference. Build that mind, build that body, build that business, build that bank account, and most importantly, build that legacy. So stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay humble. We'll see you at the top. If you want to keep growing, check out the Revenue Ronin. Also, check out today's sponsor, Play, for today's space. They'll be our sponsor through the end of November. And if you want to run AI ads, AI powered ads, definitely check out the platform. It's what I use, my clients use, and you'll get better results and performance using the tool. And make it a productive, but most importantly, profitable day. And we'll see you tomorrow in the Revenue Ronin community, 6:45 a.m. Pacific. We'll be here. And make sure you guys watch that video clip of Michael Jordan. I posted it here. It's only 3 minutes. Watch it so you really understand the message there and the impact. And make sure you guys join the Revenue Ronin community and the newsletter. Weekly actionable tips that will put more money in your bank account. If that's something that you're interested in, then subscribe to the newsletter. All right, much love, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.